welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Of course, if you do enjoy this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow me on Instagram. Y'all have seen him in the vlogs, but we haven't really sat down and did like a sit down talking video. This is a highly requested video in regards to our house and the home buying process. So if you're interested to learn about our process and our experience, keep watching. Okay, so Darian and I moved in together like August of last year? October. He was living in a different city and I was living in Atlanta, but he's from Atlanta. He tore his ACL. You tell me, like how we started living together.
Alright, so how I started, of course I was in Columbus, Georgia. That's where I went to school, at Columbus State. I was working down there at Enterprise. We were dating, of course, at the time, and I ended up tearing my ACL playing basketball. I had surgery on October 11th. So that's when I ended up coming up here because, of course, I just had a roommate down there, and I mean, he wasn't about to be sitting around taking care of me, so I had to come up here. I probably stayed at my parents' house for what, 2 days?
Yeah.
And then.
But I was staying at his parents' house too. So, y'all, okay. So his mom lives like 3 doors down from my mom, and they live in like pretty big houses. So it's like a whole lot of space. And then at the time, my apartment was like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15 minutes, but I lived on the 4th floor, and he had wanted to come back to my apartment, but it just didn't make sense because he couldn't even really walk. Like honestly, his dad had to help him do a lot.
Yeah,
so,
the first couple of days I couldn't really do.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything.
I didn't feel comfortable. I was like, I'm gonna just stay in my mom's house, and then I'll go home later. I'll go to my mom's house late at night and come.
Yeah, like that. I'm like, she said she was gonna be coming back and forth. I'm like, we got
but it's
6
across
rooms
the street.
in here.
Yeah, but okay, so they had 6 rooms. But so when I grew up, even when I dated people, I never stayed at like their parents' house. It was just weird for me. But I ended up staying there for a couple of days to help him. And then I don't remember how I even got to the apartment. Like, did we talk about it? Or
I don't think it was like.
He was still living in Columbus though.
Yeah.
Like his stuff was still in Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't officially like do the official move until after my surgery, after I was able to get around a little bit. So I was still kind of probably like every 3 weeks or whenever I had a follow-up appointment in Columbus. Since I had my surgery down there, I would go back down there, get some more clothes that I needed.
We would stay for like a night.
Yeah, and get some more clothes and stuff that I needed, and then come back up here. And then that process just got kind of old. I mean, I was already planning on moving back to Atlanta, but the timing that it happened, it was really the best time for me to go ahead and move back to Atlanta because, I mean, I had time to do it, honestly. The fact that I had to go on short-term disability, so pretty much I had time to do whatever I needed to do, so it was basically like the perfect time for me to go ahead and move back here.
So that's how we started living together. Like we've been dating and it just kind of happened because he was coming over every weekend, and then he tore his ACLs, and then I stayed with his parents for a couple of days, and then he was coming to my apartment and I was working from home, so it just like, I don't know, it just made sense. And I think one day we kind of like sat down and jokingly talked about it maybe.
What?
You moving in?
Yeah. And then it actually happened.
And then it happened. Anyway, so we had started living together, and I think it was cool. Like when we were living together, everything was cool. The only part about living together that I didn't like was it was such a small space. So I was in that space by myself. It was just me and Mace, and it was a small space for me. So imagine 2 people living there. I mean, y'all have seen the apartment. Like, if you haven't, check out the apartment tour video. It's here. It's a nice space. Everything was nice, but it was just small.
Yeah.
Because we came from big houses. Like, I think his parents' house has like 6 or 7 bedrooms. My parents' house has like 6 or 7 bedrooms. So we've always had like
our own
space, extra space, party space. Like, it's always been a lot of space.
Yeah.
And we don't even have huge families. Like, I only have 2 sisters. He has a brother and 2 sisters. But we grew up in those like really big houses. So that was like the most difficult part about it for me. Like, I have a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes. So
I just have just a little.
He has a lot of shoes.
Just a little bit, not too
But
much.
in the apartment, it was really learning how to cohabitate and learning how to share. Because I don't know how we made it work. Looking at the house, like, I don't even know how we made it work.
And the thing is, it's different. Just like how she said, it was just her and Mace. Like, even as far as the space wise, as far as like how much stuff y'all have and things like that, the real difference is actually like learning how to live with somebody. Like, of course, I had a roommate when I was in Columbus, which, you know, it was another guy. I've known him since I started school at Columbus State. So, you know, it was cool. But sharing a space with your significant other, it's different. You got to kind of like get to know each other a little bit better as far as like, you know, how she likes to keep her space and, you know, stuff like that. Like, she likes the house to be neat and, you know, stuff like that, which I honestly like. Even though I feel like I'm a pretty neat guy. I gotta say neat guy because, you know,
you are.
It's a little different, but I feel like I'm a pretty neat guy. So the fact that she likes to keep her space nice and neat, I kind of like that. So as far as anything I do throughout my day, I try to, you know, make sure I pick up after myself. Just try to keep it neat, you know, because I know what she likes. If someone were to come over, she would just like it to be neat. Even when she comes home, she likes it to be
So I'm very like clean and I'm very organized. Darian's the first guy I ever lived with. Like, in school, I had roommates, so I lived with 3 girls before. I lived with 1 girl before. I lived by myself in school, but I never lived with a guy, and I never even stayed with a guy like overnight for a long amount of time. Like, you know, in college, you date somebody, you go over there for the weekend, whatever. But I never had to share my space with a guy or a guy share his space with me. So that was like different. I will say though, Darian is super clean. Like, he's really clean. I don't really feel like I have to clean up after him or anything like that. Like, I feel like we both carry our weight. The only thing that he doesn't like to do anything in the kitchen. Like, he doesn't cook, he doesn't wash dishes, none of that. He'll help like take dishes out the dishwasher, which is cool because I'm used to doing kitchen stuff anyway because I have sisters and I mean, we're girls, so we always had to clean up the kitchen. So it's not a big deal to me. But that's the only thing that I would say.
I just don't like washing dishes. Like,
yeah, like he don't like putting his hands in the water.
And then the dishes be. I just don't like. I have to get gloves and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I feel like we complement each other because I do. He cleans up. Sometimes he'll wash clothes and stuff like that. But I feel like we complement each other in that he does a lot of outside stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he always does the trash. He always does the yard. He always makes sure the grass good, the garage. Like, traditional roles. Like, I feel like we kind of have that as far as housework and outside work.
I think that's just how I was raised, honestly, because my dad had his own, like, still has his own, like, lawn care business. So.
Well, he does too, because his name on it.
I definitely thank my dad for, you know, showing me like the traditional man stuff as far as taking out the trash and, you know, making sure the yard looks good and just stuff like handy stuff around the house. So.
Yeah. Back to the apartment. He moved in the apartment. Everything was cool there. Now, before Darian moved in, I already knew that I was outgrowing the space. Like, I was like, first of all, our rent was expensive as hell. For a 1-bedroom, I don't know where y'all live or what cost of living is there. A 1-bedroom in Atlanta is expensive, like $1,200, and which is probably nothing to people who live in New York. But here, $1,200 for a 1-bedroom 800 square feet in a nice area is expensive. Like, that's crazy. So I already knew I wanted to move. Now, I didn't know if I wanted to get a townhouse or a house or move to, like, I really was looking at moving to a 2-bedroom apartment, which we did actually look at 2-bedroom apartment. We never really went to tour them, but I would tell him, like, hey, it's fall, the rate's going down, like, look at this place, whatever. So I think we started getting serious about purchasing a home in maybe February.
Yeah, we had a New Year's, actually, we had a New Year's,
Very true.
a New Year's Eve like party at my parents' house.
And y'all saw that vlog where we all spent New Year's Eve together. It was like a party. Yeah.
And so we went in a circle. We did a circle, and basically it was, you know, saying words as far as starting our new year. And we went in a circle. It got to us, and both of our New Year's resolution pretty much was to buy a house.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where everything started at, as far as just making a goal as far as that year. I feel like that's where it started at with us, just making a goal, like, okay, this is what we want to do this year. If anything, this is what we want to do this year.
Yeah.
So it started right there. Of course, I believe February or March is when we got more serious as far as looking at different places. We still didn't know if we wanted to get another apartment, a townhouse, or even a house. We're still up in the air about that. And then along the lines that we just kept looking.
We actually reached out to one of our family friends, like a friend of both of our family, because he is like a mortgage broker. So we reached out to him and was like, hey, you know, we're not really sure if we want to purchase a house, but we at least want to talk about our financial situation to see if we can purchase a house and what we need to do. So I think it was like a Sunday. We ended up going to Starbucks, meeting him at Starbucks. I bought like my little, I'm so organized, y'all. I bought like my little notepad and my pen, and we sat down and was like, hey, this is where we are. This is what we think we want to do. What do we need to do to get there? And he told us 5 things that we needed to do. And so we had the meeting. We met for maybe like an hour, maybe. Yeah. We had the meeting. We got home. We looked over the 5 things we needed to do, and we talked about it. And we was like, bruh, like, this is how we talk to each other. Yeah. It's like, bruh, we can really do this shit. Like, if he's saying this is all we need to do, we can really do this shit. So it turned from, hey, our lease is up in October, you know, where are we going to move? What are we going to do? To let's get started now. Yeah. So,
especially with the numbers, like, we're looking at the numbers and we're like, I mean, we're paying $1,200.
The numbers almost, as far as what the mortgage would be.
Yeah, almost. We're paying almost $1,300 for
just rent.
You know, that's just rent, and that's of course every month. We're paying this much for a 1-bedroom apartment. Why can't we go out and find a bigger space or get a house and be paying maybe $200 to $300 more for a way bigger space? It's your own space, and of course it's something that you're invested in. Like, you know, it could make you profit later on down the line instead of just keep pouring more and more money into someone else's pocket. So. Yeah.
So we sat down and we really got serious about saving. Like if it's one thing you're gonna do, start saving, because it's crazy how much, like, you know, once you get to the table, as far as, you know, you find a house, you find a space that you want to get to, it starts just dropping on you how much money you gotta. And I mean, of course, you know, it's a house, so it's a good investment, but you know, it's some money over here, and then, oh hey, you gotta pay something else. Okay, we need $1,000 for this. So you definitely want to have money saved up, because it's gonna be coming from everywhere as far as. So that was the first thing we did. We started saving, and when I say saving, I mean we really started saving, because I like to get my hair done, my nails done, buy Louis here and there. Darian likes clothes and shoes, so when like new shoes would drop, he would usually get them. He bought me some Yeezys one time. I bought him some retros. Like, we were just traveling, living, and I mean, we were saving, but we weren't saving how we started saving. So we had to cut back on a lot of stuff. Like, hey, we're gonna stick to this budget. We ended up saving like chunks of money. So we were saving probably like $3,000-$4,000 a month. First of all, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
we was saving like 3-4 bands a month, like just stacking. Mind you, we were also planning for my 30th birthday trip in Jamaica, which cost a lot of money. So that was like the biggest thing that we were trying to balance. Like, we're trying to balance out. We started saving, we got our stuff, and we're like, hey, we're hearing that the market is hella crazy. Let's go see what we can see and what we like. So we went to look at these townhomes. So we used to live in Tucker. We went to live at these townhomes in Tucker, and we were like, oh, this shit nice. They were like brand new townhomes. It says Tucker, but for real, it wasn't Tucker. It was really Stone Mountain. And we were like, oh, you know, we lit. Like, this shit cool. Like, you know, so we called our broker friend, and his wife happens to be a realtor. And we were like, hey, like, come check out this spot. We really found these townhomes. We think we like them, blah, blah, blah. So they came over, and they were like, no, y'all can't live here. And me and Darian like, whoa.
Hey, just kill our dreams like that.
This is where we gonna live. They're like, no. And they started pointing out things that we didn't even realize. Like, they were like, somebody came in and tried to buy this neighborhood years ago, and they ended up leaving because none of the townhomes would sell, because if you go the other way that the GPS doesn't take you, it's a graveyard over there. And if you look at the air conditioner out here, they have the little cage things on them so people could steal and go straight through the graveyard. Like, it's just not a good space for you to live in. If you look at the townhomes in the neighborhood next door, a lot of them are rental properties. So the people don't really care about it. Y'all can't live here.
Honestly, once we told them the address to where we were looking at, it was like they were just already familiar with it, so that was already a sign right there. But
so
killed our dreams.
We got home.
Luckily.
It was like, luckily we got home. It was like, okay, obviously this house hunting shit is like real. It's like real deal shit, and we really don't know what we're doing, and we don't know what we're looking for. So maybe we should find a realtor, like, cause at first I was like, I could be our realtor, I can do it. We don't need to pay them, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, maybe we need to find a realtor. So we were like, yeah, let's find a realtor. So this is crazy, y'all. The lady who sold my mom, like my parents, their house, is the same lady who sold his parents their house, is the same lady who sold us our house. Yeah. So I think his mom had maybe hit her up. Yeah. She is amazing. I literally love her. She was definitely a blessing in this whole process, but she was like, oh my God, I remember y'all when y'all were kids. Yeah. Like, we were in middle and high school when we met her. And I don't even think our family stayed in touch with her over 15 years, but she still knew them and remember selling them their house, whatever. So she started saying, okay, you know, what's the price range? Let me kind of give y'all some stuff that y'all can go look at and maybe figure out what y'all like, what y'all don't like, what's the deal breaker, whatever. So that's kind of how the process got started. This has been a really long video, so this is going to be part 1. We're going to get into all of the details and all the juice in part 2, so make sure you stay tuned.